I don't want to start this, press stuff like talking smack about other modern bands, but I definitely do think that there's a lack of imagination in a lot of melody that I'm hearing on the radio from hard rock bands. It just seems they're totally exceptions, but there's a lot of just like paint by numbers. Like, all right, let's just do the root and the fifth and whatever. And I definitely made a real effort to make this melodically as interesting as I could without, jumping the shark.
Save the best material for the interview, not after. What's up, everybody? It's Keefy at ghostcultmag.com. I am once again joined by our good friend, Ben Flannigan of Black Map. How you doing, pal?
I'm doing great. Good to be
I
here.
feel like we could say we're friends. We've interviewed you like
Yeah.
4 or 5 times in
Yeah.
13 years of Ghost Cult and, more than 10 years in your career. And I was a fan of your previous band and all the guys' previous bands in the band. It seems like even with the plague that happened and we were all completely, despondent and shut down, y'all stayed very productive, continue to put out releases at a pretty regular clip, even with the break the last time. And I feel like my perception is that you guys work all the time on music. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, for me, I would go crazy if I didn't. I really need to create. And even if there wasn't like a vessel like the band, I would still be doing it. So yeah, we've always stayed busy writing, even if for a while we weren't touring as much because of the obvious.
Yeah. And I asked offline, but just good to know that everybody in the band is good. And we had the LA fires to start the year and the end of the year. That was terrible. And I hope all your collaborators and peers and label people are also okay. As a relatively newbie to the Bay Area the last 3 or 4 years, I haven't really had, other than the little haze in the horizon to the north and the east, I haven't really suffered from the fires. Actually, we had like a random. Were you around for like a couple of months ago? We had like a tsunami warning and an earthquake in the same week.
Yeah, I do recall that. I'm up in Santa Rosa now, like
Oh,
an
sure, yeah,
hour north of the city.
yeah.
So we have a whole different set of less tsunami, but more, there are fires that absolutely decimated this area like 5 years ago. So we're always on the lookout for that up here. But yeah, California is, it's one of the most beautiful places on earth. But it comes with some. We got to look out for bears and
Yeah.
snakes and
Killer spiders.
killer spiders. Yeah.
I've been actually spending a lot of time up in Santa Rosa, so I'll have to pick your
Nice.
brain
Sure.
for some things, but things to do. But yeah, man, new Black Map record where I always seem to catch you right on the eve. So I know after you've been working on a thing for a long time and then it's kind of done and you're making videos and doing the press rounds. Now that you're a little bit removed from just making it, how do you feel the record's it's on the eve of coming out?
I feel great. It's wild to me though because I think most people know this, but you record a record. We started recording at the beginning of 2024, and now it's the middle of 2025. And I still love it, but I've listened to it, literally 1,000 times probably. At first, just making sure that everything was good, and then now, I'm one of those people. I do listen to my own band. I check it out and take inventory on what we've been doing, and so which affects what you'll do in the future. But short story long, I love it. It's our most probably immediate album. It just kind of from the first second it just goes, and I'm really proud of it. People have only heard 3 songs, and they'll get to hear the other 6, in about, I don't know when this airs, but on the 9th. So very excited for other people to hear it.
Right on. This will run sometime after, but again, always a pleasure. Once again, the album is Hex, coming out on Spinefarm Records this week as we're recording, but this will be shown in the future. Time travel through Zoom. And it's always cool to talk to people around the world, but also in my backyard. It's fun.
Yeah.
As a long follower of the band, and I feel like we've tried to support you guys as much as possible. It's a very strong record. I know it's kind of a contrast from the last record. There's a lot of great riffs on here. I think probably my favorite track is Oblivion Season, but the singles are also bangers. And I like Badlands and Burning Satellite too, but Oblivion Season's got, I don't know, slow down, James Hetfield. That right hand is working overtime on those riffs, man. Good times there.
Yeah.
Very up-tempo stuff, almost a little punk feel
Yeah.
to you guys that you haven't had in a while.
That was kind of yeah, I thought it was a little bit Bad Religion, a little bit kind of like, a couple of friends said just like the faster Foo Fighters stuff, but I definitely was channeling some maybe Bad Religion and Descendants, particularly, I think, with a very bit an uncharacteristically busy bass line for me in that. So some of my old school punk rock roots in that, and cool, yeah, happy to hear you're digging that. And then Oblivion Season, probably my favorite moment on the whole record is the kind of there's kind of a post-hardcore breakdown in that. That's just really fun, and I'm very excited to see it live and hoping for some little light circle pits, being safe out there, but some movement is always fun to watch, and I feel like that part will kind of work well with that.
Right on. Everybody pick up. You see somebody fall down, pick them up. That's
There you go.
the old school way. And we don't want anybody getting hurt. I know there's a lot of probably not at your shows, but there's a lot of stuff going on now with crowd killing and stuff like that. And I grew up adjacent to hardcore as a metal kid in New York City. And I, really like, I'm 50 something years old. I don't want to get punched anymore. So I don't go near the pit. I watch from the back or the side because I don't, occasionally I get like a little urge to jump in and then I'm like, nah, I'm going to be hurt tomorrow. I can't do this.
Yeah,
At the same time, I love you mentioning like Bad Religion and Descendants because to me, the classics never go out of style. I've seen both bands in the last couple of years. They're still killer. And when I know that, obviously the roots of the band, we've shared before our mutual love of bands like Quicksand and stuff like that. And there's like a wave now of kind of new bands channeling those influences. So you're somewhere right in the middle where I
yeah.
think some bands could be citing you guys as well because you've always kind of had that in the mix too.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's a lot of from very heavy metal to very ambient music. We've been influenced by all of that, and that's kind of the spectrum of this band. But usually it's not on one side or the other. Usually it's a mix of those things kind of peppering themselves into our music. And yeah, I mean, I think that's part of what makes us what I hope is an interesting band for people is that it's not just kind of one thing.
And also, I'd be remiss to say that I think this is one of your best vocal albums. I think you took a lot of risks vocally. A lot of singers, as I just started being in a band again after a very long break, yelling into a stick. And I was like, most singers don't take any risks. It's like, very few note choices and range choices. And I feel like you really stretched yourself here. I think going back a ways, I always listen to the whole catalog of a band before we chat. And I was like, picking out moments and stuff. And I hear stuff on here vocally I've never heard before from you, which I love.
Thanks. I really agree with you, and I don't want to start this, press stuff like talking smack about other modern bands, but I definitely do think that there's a lack of imagination in a lot of melody that I'm hearing on the radio from hard rock bands. It just seems they're totally exceptions, but there's a lot of just like paint by numbers. Like, all right, let's just do the root and the fifth and whatever. And I definitely made a real effort to make this melodically as interesting as I could without, jumping the shark.
Nice take there. And also, oh, did you sing an octave? Oh, would you like a cookie or a pat on the head? Like, we've all grown up with like the same influences, classic rock, heavy metal, pop music. So, take some risks.
Yeah.
Be a little daring if you can. And maybe not everybody's Prince, but be daring because I think it's rewarding on the other side when you make music for yourself that pleases you. It's definitely going to turn up ears on your fan base, and you've got a fan base that has traveled with you along every little different flavor of the band record to record. And like I said, this record is in a perhaps stark contrast to the last one. It was a little chilled out, but again, it was we were all kind of wounded in the world anyway, so I understand fully a little more ephemeral kind of musical style compared to this, which has got like a really great sense of urgency, which we need right now.
Yeah, nice.
We need that right now. How about lyrics? What's going, obviously the last few years of your life, just 3 years between these two records. Any big changes in your life or any big influences lyrically on this record?
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, not to be a bummer, but yeah, two of the songs, a song called Tethered and the song called Price to Fix It, are both about friends that passed away, and both brilliant musicians. So, the songs are sad, but I also wanted to create a sense of kind of joy in them as well. There's a sadness, but there's also like in being able to remember them kind of as a tribute. And so those are both really personal songs and are sad to me, but they're also really cathartic to play. And both of those songs, like when I got those two calls, within 20 minutes, I had a guitar in my hand. After I cried my eyes out, I just started writing. And that kind of brings back to the song Hex. What that's about is just about like the power of music to me and how healing it could be, and wondering kind of where I'd be without it. Because I mourning those friends, if I didn't have music, I'm not sure how it would have gone. And having music just helped me so much, with a release. So yeah, so those are some lyrical themes. The last song on the record, "Fake Your Own Life," is just about the kind of attempt at living a genuine life, whatever that means to you, just really being yourself. And you get one shot at this, so why try to be anything for anyone else? Just to be yourself. So those are some themes there. Oblivion Season is pretty much about COVID, and not being able to connect, with other humans other than a few. I luckily have a great wife and a kid that I was able to, be with for that time, but I still miss the hell out of so many other people. So, lyric in that one, I need your push and pull and to feel your chemicals. It's basically just talking about wanting to be around other human beings and needing human connection. So those are some themes on the record.
Right on. Sorry for your losses, and glad you have an outlet. Well, so many people don't have an outlet, and I think we've talked before about mental health and mental health is wealth and things like that. And again, we still find ourselves year after year, 3, 4 interviews in my career here with you and Ghost Cults history, and even before that as a journalist, it's still the same thing. It's like there's still a stigma. I know there's like kind of be crazy rock and roll barbarians. And then there's also like a lot of people are suffering. A lot of people never made it back from the pandemic emotionally and
Mm-hmm.
mentally. You see it in public, people don't know how to act. You see it in your friends, you see it in yourself. I see it in myself. I'm really trying to focus on my mental health more than ever. And it's so tough. It's so tough. I'm glad you have an outlet for it. And actually, the Fake Your Own Life also reminded me of a Living Color song called This Is
Really?
the Life, which
Okay.
is the same topics. Like I felt that vibe from it. So it's kind of
Cool.
funny that you mentioned that. It's yeah. I mean, we live in a very, like AI and people are like captivated by it. And I get it, like the new thing, shiny object syndrome. I still feel like AI doesn't we use it all the time and we take it for granted,
Mhm.
corrective adaptive text messages and Photoshop and Adobe Premiere, which we use to make these videos and thumbnails, but also like I think the over reliance on it, the idea that it's going to like save anything is false. And I think we need people making music. We need people making great art. I'm always thrilled at your artwork from your albums. The new artwork is
Oh,
super
nice.
cool.
Thanks.
Obviously it just speaks to what the album is. You can definitely tell. I think it'll look cool on the vinyl and on a shirt. Like that matters to me still. I'm still like that little kid that used to like open up the Kiss and Iron Maiden records. I'm sure you were too.
Yeah. Oh, art still matters a lot to us, and I don't know. I don't think it's not synesthesia. Maybe it's actually opposite. But like when I hear an album, like I see colors still with it, And when I hear Nevermind, I hear Aqua, and when I hear Dark Side of the Moon, I hear the black and the rainbow colors coming through and stuff. So we definitely spent a lot of time finding the kind of art that represented the kind of the color palette that we felt the album was. Yeah, so we're proud of it. The vinyl does look great, and yeah, I got my copy, played it the other day, and I'm happy with it.
Sick. Spinefarm, by the way, always does a marvelous job on their products and packaging. I know like your band started at a time when vinyl was just coming back. And now it's like, there's a lot of people. I also have a vinyl podcast and we nerd out about craft beer and vinyl and stuff. And I was like, oh, we've been debating whether it's, like losing luster or some such thing, but I don't think so. Actually, I still think there are music lovers out there that do play their vinyl and do love collecting and do care about it, and they're not flipping. Again, it's not baseball cards, everybody.
Right.
Like, I know that's a big deal to a lot of people. The unboxing of the card and look what I got. Cool, very cool. But like love your music, love your musicians, support your bands, and lucky to be on the great Spinefarm Records putting out banger after
Absolutely.
banger records.
When we started talking to them, I mean, it's a label that we had since we started this band, maybe a little after I'd been aware of, and I always loved their roster, and I always wanted to be on the label. So finally, it worked out. So I mean, you just look at the bands that they have. There's some really incredible heavy hitters. So we're happy to be part of it.
And they're part of the story of so much rock music. Even bands that are not with them anymore, they launched the careers of
Sure.
countless. We could do a whole side interview about Spinefarm. I should probably talk to somebody up there because I think that would be really fun to examine kind of their history and how they go
Sure.
about choosing who to work with. That'd be fun. Getting new ideas. Ben helping me out.
Yeah,
That's
love
our
it.
new join my new
That's why
podcast
I'm
with
here.
Ben,
Love
where
it.
we analyze the music industry. So obviously, I know you guys had some shows. You got more stuff coming up recently. Upcoming with the release. Did the release show here in town?
Yeah,
What's
we had a
coming up?
Sacramento release. And the other guys, I'm in Santa Rosa. The other guys are in Sacramento now. So I guess I mean, I think of us as like Northern California band, basically. So we did a hometown show there, and then like a hometown bottom of the hill show 2 days ago, and they were both awesome. Really like full of joy and just seeing a lot of people that have been with us from the beginning, and awesome to see them sing along with the new music. And then we have a two big show announcement that I can't talk about yet, but we'll announce next week. And then yeah, our agent's working on some stuff for us, hopefully in the summer, late summer, and in the fall. But
Nice.
nothing yet.
Okay. Did you happen to catch, by the way, the Deftones tour?
Didn't see them this time around. They're one of my favorite bands in the world, and caught up with Lance, who plays guitar with them at our show in Sacramento the other day. I didn't see them on the tour though.
Yeah, Lance has been doing a great job. The reason I ask, because we've talked before about Deftones, and it's wild to me that a band that I saw in a club in '96 played to like 20,000 people almost in a sold out show where the Warriors play. It is mind blowing to me. And Chino even said, like, we used to like sneak in here to see shows and ball games, and we used to sneak into Golden One. Like, how did this happen? Which is wild. So
They're just like they're one of the best bands, and
yeah.
they keep releasing interesting music, and it seems like they're not beholden to anyone. Like they just want to do exactly what they want to do. I mean, their songs, it's not like they're having like number one radio hits anymore. They're just creating amazing music, and people keep wanting to hear it. So it's an awesome like set of values, it seems like, that they just keep creating good art, and that keeps growing it. It's awesome.
Right on. I'm going to wish cast that when Deftones announce their new album, hopefully later this year, and they book a tour for next year, hopefully Black Map we get to open for them. That would be crazy, and I would love it personally. I know
Do
they
that,
had,
please.
imagine like Deftones at the Drive-In or Mars Volta and Black Map. That would be some kind of crazy conjuring.
We'll take it.
I would take it too. Last but not least, I had a different, my usual, potpourri questions I like to ask at the end of the interviews. But I'll ask you, like, what's cool around Santa Rosa that I haven't done yet that I need to do?
Oh, it's awesome. It's just beautiful up here. There's like deer that run through our yard, and like eagles flying by, stuff like that. But obviously, like really amazing craft beer scene, Russian River Brewery, and a couple other places, and then it's just beautiful. I go on like long bike rides, and I never did that before. So just exploring like the beauty of it. It's it's been rad. It's been a nice change. I love like you live in San Francisco, and I loved my time there. But with the kid now, it's just time for me to get to a place with a little more serenity. So yeah, loving it up here.
Well noted. San Francisco is not the place for serenity, but we talked offline.
Yeah,
We're getting a very bad rep around the country. I love it here.
yeah.
I'm an East Coaster. I will always be an East Coaster. I lived in New York and Boston for the majority of my life, but I love it here. I'm never leaving. San Francisco is killer. It's green and beautiful.
Amazing.
There's still a lot of San Francisco culture here, even if like most major cities are changing. There's a changing of the guard. And, whoever's watching at home on their news channels shit on this city, they really should come visit and not let the news paint a
Yeah.
picture. It's not
There's
real.
literally, it's a totally false narrative. There's literally like 3 or 4 blocks that I wouldn't recommend walking down at a certain time of night, but that happens in every single city in America. And the rest of it is absolutely fucking gorgeous and incredible food and incredible people. And it's a great place.
The people is the number one thing. And then I would think, like, again, if you're from another part of the country, I just think the light on the West Coast, there's something about it that's made me feel better. I open up my window and I open up my shades, even though like there's a part of me that wants to be like a goth vampire and be like, no sunlight, but actually it's beautiful here. And there's a great vibrant music scene here in the whole Bay Area.
Yeah,
And not just rock and metal. And I urge people to come check it out. But dude, it's always a pleasure to see you and talk to you.
absolutely.
Congratulations on the new album Hex coming out on Spinefarm Records. Thanks again for your time and always supporting us back. As much as I feel like I said we've supported you, I feel like the love has come right back. So thank you, man.
Appreciate it very much. Yeah.